Connecticut Yankee, also known as the Yankee at King Arthur's Court, is a really good film. This was released in 1931. This is directed by David Butler. It's written by William N. Conselman, Owen Davis and Jack Moffitt, based on the story by Mark Twain, with a cast including Will Rogers, William Farnum, Frank Albertson, Maureen O'Sullivan and various others. I recently read the novel by Mark Twain and enjoyed it for the most part. Decided to watch some adaptations, and this one is really good. Our protagonist, Hank, experiences an injury and is transported back in time to the time of King Arthur, where he lives out quite an adventure with a lot of potential danger, but can he use his knowledge of the future to his advantage? In this version, Hank is a radio salesman, and we experience his character over about 10 minutes. We get to know who he is, and then he's transported back in time. And I'd say it got to the point quickly. I think 10 minutes is a decent amount of time to set things up. And from that point on, the pacing was really good. We get a little bit of time to know Hank, then we launch into the time period, and I think they did a really good job of making it feel immersive, really bringing that time period to life. Granted, I was never around in the time of King Arthur, but it felt believable. It felt realistic enough, so it was easy to buy into the story. I think the characters were well written. Hank's response to everything felt pretty realistic, and certainly it was easy to connect with the character and want the best for him. I like this version of Hank. I think the character works really well as Hank, and I'd say it looks kind of like what I imagined Hank to look like as well, for the most part. Strong character writing, great performances, some really awesome set designs, and great costumes. I don't know how accurate they are time period wise, but they look brilliant. Really good camera work. As for the story, in terms of the adaptation, it's definitely recognisable. For the most part, it's a faithful adaptation. There are things that are different, of course. For example, Hank is a radio salesman, but there are a lot of similarities to make it feel like the story, a decent version of Mark Twain's story. I think it focused on bits that I found to be quite interesting in the novel, and it's also a lot less waffly as well. As much as I enjoyed reading the story, I do find that with this book in particular, I feel like Mark Twain really wanted to show off his knowledge of the time period and the characters, which is fair enough. Speaking as a writer, I can absolutely relate to that. There were times when he used 100 words to describe something that he could have described in 10 without losing anything. So not the strongest in terms of the flow of the story with the novel. But I think most of the interesting bits were here, and at least bits that I found to be interesting. And in general, I'd say the 1931 A Connecticut Yankee is not a bad film, and whether or not you've read the book, I'm happy to recommend it.